Hey, what's up guys? This is Aaron from Great Lakes RC and I wanted to do a quick opinion video about my two latest Arrmas. As you can see, I can't fit them all in my workspace. Alright, so I'm going to start with Kraton 8S, and I've had this thing out for 4 or 5 runs now. No, 5 runs I think. And I've taken it as far as I want to stock. For what I do like these tires. I didn't even vent them, and they're doing fine. The lugs are getting worn down because I like to do the power slides quite a bit. The body has been awesome. I have had an instance, you can see the shock towers bubbling up a little bit here and where it hits the body. So I put a little extra Gorilla Tape in there. One time I did have it pretty much cave in on it, but without a front bumper, it's holding up pretty well for what I'm doing. And like I mentioned on one of my other videos, I did have a couple minor durability things. I had some bent rear shock shafts, replaced those with M2C shafts and pistons. And then I've got a slight bend in this rear chassis. And I believe that's because this bolt and these bolts loosened up, probably from the landings, because I usually end up landing on the rear like this, so that would be my guess. But it's held up pretty dang good for a stock truck. Also put these carbon fiber braces on here. I don't know how much they're helping. They might help a little bit. I think stock electronics have been really good. You know, I got 50, I believe it was 54 miles an hour. I think that's more than enough for this truck as far as a stock configuration. Haven't had any arms break. Haven't had any of these guys break, these little brace connection points. I did turn my ESC settings way up, punch all the way up, motor timing up to 7%. I put the servo on, I think it's 8.2, 8.4 volts. Because the servo is a little bit weak at 6 volts to turn these big tires. So, I mean, I am super impressed with this thing stock configuration. And it must be because it's a 1.5, because so many people said it was slow, had chassis bending like crazy, everybody that got the V1s. And I swear I have the update for this ESC, because I can't imagine getting 54 miles an hour wheelies. I went to 20 million diff fluid. So you could buy this truck, do some, you know, halfway decent bashing. You're not going to be able to do crazy 40, 50 foot jumps with this thing and have it survive, but I've got some pretty decent ramps. I'm doing like 10-foot jumps, maybe that's, you know, kind of small time, but for me, I just think it's a blast, and I would not hesitate picking this one up. I think it's a better value than an X-Max. I do have an X-Max. Reason being, on the X-Max, I had to replace the motor and I had to replace the ESC to get any decent speed out of it. Also on the X-Max, my stock gears completely obliterated, and that was on one run. I did one nose landing and everything completely destroyed, so I had to get hardened gears. So you talk about two trucks that are priced the same, this one's held up better. And I had $50 in upgrades for shock shafts and pistons, and I think this was about 20 bucks. So it's 70 bucks worth of upgrades to get it where I'm at. X-Max was new ESC, new motor, new gears. So keep that in mind. People call me an Arrma fanboy, and I guess I am, because I do love Arrmas, but also I think they are very good values. So that's the Kraton. Set that one down. Now for the Mojave. And I absolutely love this Mojave. This one probably is the best value, probably of any Arrmas. Maybe even better than the Kraton, because the stock Kraton, you're probably going to bend the chassis. So this truck, I've done very little to. I did put different electronics in it only because I wanted to. This body's held up pretty well. Got a couple of can see it's cracking a little bit back here. I keep trying to tape it up. It keeps cracking. But other than that, this body's held up well. I did have these screws come out. It was really weird. I don't know, they worked themselves loose, so I put some lock nuts behind here. Maybe they were there originally, I don't know, because these have lock nuts. So that was a weird one, because all of a sudden one day I just noticed those were gone, but that's no big deal. So, you know, I'm not on gravel, but this body's held up pretty good. I think this little skid bar helps out a little bit with that. Of course, these roof protectors help out quite a bit. So this, what I had to do on this to be able to do the jumps that I do is, like any Arrma, you put your chassis braces in. These are Italian chassis braces. For extra protection, I went with the M2C. I don't know what you want to call this, shock tower support. And you see these two holes. It stumped me a little bit because this hole doesn't hit anything. You can't use this hole. But that's why there's two holes, just for the Mojave. So you can use this on the Mojave. Put foam in here to help these body posts to not break on you. I did have one break anyway. I just Gorilla Taped the heck out of it. Whatever. It doesn't bother me much. This rear bumper is amazing. It absorbs so many hits. I'm always landing on the rear of this thing. And even this front bumper is really, really good. I think that the protection this thing has, built-in skid plates, I really think that helps it, you know, be able to take a level of abuse. And this chassis is still straight. So, you know, I did put this carbon fiber across the top. It has the tower-to-tower stock. Those upgrades are really what you need for some pretty good bashing. I don't think you can go too hard with this anyway. I don't think you can backflip it. I mean, you could run it off a big giant ramp like some people do, Eric and Rich. But what I did, I ran it stock once. I enjoyed the heck out of it, but I felt like I could use a little bit more punch. So me personally, I put in the 4092 1730 and a Mamba Monster X, and I've had great luck with this combo. This thing's got tons of torque, tons of speed. I put a 20-tooth pinion on it, and with the 1730 kV, that seems about right. This motor runs about 160, 170 degrees, which, you know, is acceptable. And then the ESC is in like the 140 range. So I think that's about perfect. I'm going to leave it at the 20-tooth. I don't think I need any more speed out of it for me. These mud guards have not worked well. These are T-bone mud guards. The first time I had them in there, I took an extra hard hit and this thing just smashes. You can kind of see it. It smashes right into here, and this went flying off. I also destroyed my shock. That was from a bad sideways landing. But I've had to put these, replace screws on these multiple times, so I wouldn't really recommend those. Maybe if you got some RPMs and cut them, or maybe I probably should just cut this. I should probably cut it out more is what I need to do this, but it's not really keeping much dirt out. I've seen people use those big giant fenders to keep dirt out. That might be a good idea, because this chassis really collects grass and dirt and junk. I even have Kraton mudguards on here too. But I think you could buy this truck completely stock, run it, and have a great time with it. I have that truck basically stock, and you can run it and have a good time with it. So right now, the Kraton and the Mojave, they're my two favorite Arrmas right now. And they also happen to be the two most recent ones I got. So, and you can see I even put them, I cut the box art out and put it up. That's how much I'm digging these trucks. And I don't normally do these opinion videos like this, but I just felt that I needed to, you know, kind of set that out there, that if you can even find them, because they're hard to get right now, you know, in the pandemic, everybody's buying up all the RC stuff. So one other thing that I should mention, what does tend to happen too, is these wheels are extremely soft. Let's see if I can find my spare wheel. You can see these, and even this one, you can see it's starting to cave in on itself right here and right here. But these hexes are, the plastic on this one must be very soft. Because it tends to strip out when you're running these big power plants. Let me compare it to Italian wheel. because I've ran the truck with these wheels. You can tell they're a little bit bigger. They still clear the fenders. I just don't like the look of them with the dish wheel compared to this colored wheel. For some reason, I just like that for this truck better. And I also really like this tread. This tread really hooks up well, especially in the grass, where this one's kind of a hybrid street style tire. So I mean, this one works on here. I've ran it. I just personally don't like it as much. But you can see the difference in the hex size, the amount of plastic, all this extra plastic that, you know, is stopped here. You can see it's further back. That flange is further back. I don't know why they just didn't bring it up more, because this whole thing just strips. And that's only running big power. I haven't heard, I mean, people are still stripping out hexes, but I really think it's when you run the big power through it. Like these red wheels, they didn't last one run. That's why I got these gray wheels in. And I also got the M2C extenders with this double nut locking system. And that really locks the wheel to the hub. So there's no stripping between the wheel and the hub. Whereas the stock axles are actually Typhon axles, and they tend to rub right here. Like it's hard, the plastic's hard up against it, and then when you're running it, it kind of wears it down. So I think that's part of the reason that people are stripping them stock. But I've always run it with M2C extenders, and like I said, this red wheel just completely stripped the first time. So I think if Arrma was to, you know, make a change, they'd either put more plastic around it or use whatever this plastic is here, because this one seems to be holding up. And the rumor that I hear is that it's a harder, different plastic than the red. So those are the only couple of minor things, really the only thing I've run into this. And the stock STX2 radio holds it back too. I'm running my Futaba, so I guess you would have to either deal with your STX or want to change it out. But it's just a fun truck to drive. It handles amazing, and so does the Kraton. Handles amazing as well. I've been having a blast with these two trucks. If anybody's on the fence about getting these, like I said, if you can find them, go for it. It's got my stamp of approval if that means anything to anybody. So we'll catch you guys next time.